I mostly get my recommendations from Booktube. So in this video, we are going to review Booktubers' best books of 2023.
My favorite books. Favorite books.
Favorite books.
Favorite books.
Favorite books.
Favorite books. Favorite books.
Favorite books.
Favorite books.
Favorite books. My top.
Best books.
Best books.
Best books. Best books.
Best books of the year.
Of the year.
2023.
2023.
Of 2023.
All of the Booktubers that I'll be referencing will be listed in the description box down below, and all the books that I've picked will go in order of how many Booktubers listed the book as part of their 2023 best books. So first up, we have Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi with 1 vote from Steph Bower.
Ignite Me, and I did really enjoy this one.
I won't give you a synopsis so that I don't spoil anything because this is the 3rd book in a series, but to prepare for this video, I did read this on my flight to LA, and it was a good time. I finally got to see the romance that everyone seems to rave about. Something about romance in dystopian or fantasy novels hit different. I gave it a 4.75 stars. It's not, unfortunately, a full 5 stars. Something about it was missing, but it was still a really great read and I had a fun time. And next, we're going to read another book with 1 vote. One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. 1 vote from Carrie Can Read.
One for My Enemy. Who would have thunk? Who? Not me.
Carrie Can Read is usually a library girly and she actually bought this book, so I hope that's really indicative of how much she likes it. I actually hauled this in my 24-hour readathon and this is the video that I was preparing this book for. This book is set in modern times, but there are rival witch families, so kind of think a little bit like Romeo and Juliet but witch families and set in modern times. But one day someone crosses the line and there's gonna be some kind of fighting that happens. It's about a 400-page book. I hope it's an easy read. They give you a list of characters to reference. I'm hoping it doesn't mean that this book is super complicated with a bunch of characters that I want people to keep up with. Oh, it even has a quote from Romeo and Juliet here. We have a delivery. Amazon usually never rings the doorbell, but this time they did and it startled me as I was reading the book. Guess what this is? A huge jar of vinegar. I use it to clean my fruits and to disinfect other stuff. Just a very good house cleaning tool. Hi. So updates. I am currently on page 305, so very more than halfway through the book. Not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. It's okay. This should kind of wrap up by now. Like, it's getting a little bit too dragged on. Mentally, I'm kind of done with the book by now. So I'm gonna go work out for a little bit and I'll come back. See you soon. Good morning! It is the next day. It is also not morning, it's 12:30. Fully the afternoon. I have finished One for My Enemy last night. I really wanted to like it. It was okay. It started off with like a 4.75 rating, and as I kept reading on, I was really kind of getting a little bored and also just thinking this is a little too long. I personally did not like the ending. I kind of understood why she did it, but I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. I'm sorry! Oh, Carrie, you have great taste in books. I just don't particularly like this one. I'm sorry. It's modern times set in New York, Manhattan. They are rival witch families and of course there's a lot of drama, but in my opinion, a little too much drama. Like, it was too dramatic. And for what? Did you really have to do that? Does this really mean you have to go all the way and think this much about this? That's what it felt like. So anyways, that's that. Now we're gonna move on to the 2 mentioned books. Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This has 2 mentions by Alexandra Roslin and Katie is reading.
Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater.
My top book of the year, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater.
And I read this book in preparation for this video while I was in LA. I was pretty much watching my baby niece for the most part, and I had to, of course, because she's a baby, stop, start this book because of all the chaos around. But even then, it's still 5 stars. I really liked this book. Oh my gosh. This is set in the Regency era and our main character is cursed by a fairy. She cannot feel fear or embarrassment, so obviously that's gonna make her look a little weird in society if she's not giving an F about what she does. You would if you had a sense of fear or embarrassment, right? Because you care what other people think. But she doesn't give an F, so it's really funny. And back in the Regency era, young ladies, their kind of purpose is to find a gentleman too. Like, that's one of their main goals. And you can imagine how hard that would be if you're not considered a normal kind of acting person in society. It's just so funny. It's so endearing. It's so cute. And the witty writing was so funny. Did I mention that it was funny? And this is actually a series, so I'm gonna definitely read the rest of the series. I really enjoyed this book. loved it. Okay, we're moving on to another 2-mentioned book. And these 2 mentions are from Jack Edwards and Carolyn Marie Reeds, and that is
Foster.
Foster, again, feels like a modern classic.
This is a very short book, so I'm just gonna breeze through this. Claire Keegan is very raved about, very famous author. I also bought this in Korea. You can see the Korean 1 on the sticker. I just saw it and I was like, oh, I really wanted this book anyway, and it's a lightweight book. It won't take up too much space in my luggage, so I bought it. I think what this book is about is a young girl moves to a different household because there she has a better chance of getting the attention and care she needs in order to grow up well. And I think it's just supposed to be a really touching and endearing story. It's only like 88 pages, not even 100 pages. So let's read. Woo! Just finished. It definitely does tug at your heartstrings. It is a young girl who goes to a different household to be raised for about a year. I think it's because her parents don't have the money to take care of her or the capacity to. She's just so well taken care of at this new place. It's also from the little girl's point of view. There was one thing where some clerk at the store was saying like, oh, I bet you can't wait for school to start so that you can be rid of this young girl. And the woman was like, no, she's really easy to take care of. This one's a gem. And the little girl can hear that and she understands that and processes that in her head. And it's just a reminder that kids are listening to everything you're saying. They know what you're saying. Just because they're young doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on. And it's just so sad, but also so heartwarming at the same time. I will read this book again. This is definitely a reread. 5 stars. So next we move on to our 3 mention category. This has a total of 3 mentions from Darlene Desi, Rachel Catherine, and Sarah Caroli.
Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross.
Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross.
Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I have high hopes for this one because it went so viral. I'm hoping I will think the same way too. From what I know, this is an enemies to lovers romance and they're both writers. She has her brother who goes to war. She's worried about him, tries to send him a letter, but for some reason magically gets redirected to the male enemy. This book is so viral and so well loved, so I'm hoping I'll love it too. I'm getting a little hungry now, so I'm gonna make some fruit. So far, I am liking Divine Rivals. Pretty good book. I thought at first that she was going to think that the letters coming back were actually from her brother, but that's not the case. She knows it's not her brother that's sending back the letters, so that's a good thing. The vinegar I told you about, this one's almost done. Mix it with some water. Let it sit there like that for a few minutes and then it'll be more sanitary to eat. The strawberries should be done by now, so I'm going to rinse it out. And no, this does not give a vinegar smell or taste to the strawberries. Good morning! I finished Divine Rivals last night. I really liked it. I wasn't expecting to really like it, honestly, because I didn't understand the premise too much. Their world is in a war, and the synopsis on the flap says that she goes to find her brother in the war. So I was kind of wondering, like, is she gonna join the war as a soldier, or like, what is she gonna do there? But now I fully understand, and it was pleasantly surprising. I really liked the story. I normally cannot watch grotesque movies, and I don't like seeing the blood with pain and no. But I was able to enjoy reading this book. They do talk about it a little bit, but not in a way that I got queasy. The whole time I was kind of wondering what I would rate it because it wasn't like, oh my god, I really love this story, 5 stars. It was more like, I'm enjoying my experience, I like this book. And then towards the end, I'm like, you know, if I'm just enjoying myself, I had a great time reading it, 5 stars. The way it ended, it definitely ended on a cliffhanger. Like, you're gonna want to read Ruthless Vows after this. I am so glad that I like this book because I specifically bought the hardcover for this. Is what I bought the hardcover for because this is a typewriter. I just love typewriters. I think I'm a grandma on the inside. It's so cute. Just like look at it, and now that I've read the book, I understand why it's significant. Don't you love that? Looking back at the cover after you're done with the book, now it just speaks out way more to me. Now we're moving on to 4 mentions, and this was mentioned a total of 4 times by A Clockwork Reader, The Book Leo, Peruse Project, and Haley in Bookland. And that is
The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Winner in this category is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches.
The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Madana.
The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana.
This book was a cute little book. I read this on the plane on the way back. I finished it here. I really liked this book. Like, the story itself was cute. This book was an enjoyable read up until the end. Did not like how it ended. I thought it was kind of, that's gonna be the reason? That was what it felt like. Did they really have to do do that. And in my opinion, I felt like they didn't tie up the loose ends at the end, so it was not super satisfying. I give this a 4.5 stars. Now we move on to our 6 mentions. Yes, we do not have a 5 mentions. I don't know why, it just happened that way. And this was mentioned a total of 6 times by Steph Bower, Sarah Caroli, Destiny Sidwell, Ravenhead Reader, Chandler Ainsley, and Rachel Catherine. And that is
Yours truly by Abby Jimenez.
Yours truly, Abby Jimenez.
Yours truly by 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 Abby Jimenez.
This is a library book. As you can see, I've covered up the barcodes and stuff. This is going to be my second Abby Jimenez book. I have read Part of Your World. That was an okay book. Not my favorite, but I've heard much better things about this one. I think this is like pretty much everyone's favorite out of all the Abby Jimenez books. So according to the back of the book, both of our main characters, our love interests, are doctors. She is going through a divorce and her brother needs a kidney, and he is willing to be that kidney donor, but also tries to call in a different favor that she apparently can't refuse. That's a very generous thing to do for your crush's brother. So let's take a read, shall we? Good morning. I am on page 164. So far, it's an okay book. We do have a little bit of a fake dating trope in here, which I always love. You know how he was supposed to donate a kidney to her brother? I mean, it's kind of believable, but not really. Donating an organ of your body is a very big deal, and it does put you at risk no matter how healthy of a person you are. I don't know, I just felt like the decision came a little bit too rushed for me in my head. Maybe I'm missing something and I'll find it in the last half of the book. Okay, I am almost done with the book, but not quite yet, but I have to make dinner. I have about this much left. Just need to get started on making dinner. I'll be right back. Okay, so while that's cooking, I'm gonna finish the rest of this book. Finished. She writes well. I would say 4.25 stars because I wasn't super comfortable with the whole premise. I felt so sorry for him the whole time. Imagine the emotional turmoil you would feel if you were in his position. It wasn't like making me want to read it and finish it right away, but it was like an okay love story. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!